Okay, so good day, senior high school students. Welcome to our subject, Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person. Okay, so since today is your philosophy day, we're gonna talk about Module 2, which is divided into two lessons. Lesson 1, Truth and Opinion, and Lesson 2, which is Methods of Philosophizing. So just sit back, relax, and just enjoy learning. Okay, so in connection to our first lesson, which is lesson 1, truth and opinion, I prepare and I have here some set of statements. Okay, meron ako inanda mga statements dito. And I want you class to determine whether the statements is truth or opinion. Okay, so number 1, the first statement, tingnan natin kung makukuha nyo ba. Ano nga ba ito? Truth or opinion pa kaya ito? So number 1, Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. Ano po kaya ito? Is it truth or opinion? Okay, so pakisulat po sa inyong mga notebook ang ating kasagutan para sa first statement na to in relation to our discussion for today. Ayan, so later on, babalikan natin kung ano nga ba yung mga tamang sagot for these statements. Okay, number 2 statement, dog is a mammal. Is it truth or opinion? Okay, pakisulat po muli ang iyong sagot sa inyong mga sagutang papel. Number 3, the capital city of Philippines is Manila. Is it truth or opinion? Ano po kaya ang sagot? So kindly write your answers to your notebook. Okay, and lastly, the last statement, Duterte is the president of the Philippines. Totoo nga ba? Si Duterte nga ba ang presidente ng Pilipinas ngayon? Okay, so again, pakisulat po ang inyong mga sagot sa ating notebook. Okay? So, now let's reveal what is the correct answer for those statements na binigay ko sa inyo, no? So, class, all those statements na pinakita ko po sa inyo, it shows and it reflects the word truth. Okay? Lahat po ng iyon ay truth. So, kung sino po ang naka-perfect ng truth ang kanilang sagot sa kanilang mga sagotang papel, well, congratulations and very good dahil tama po ang inyong mga kasagutan. Okay? So, in relation to that statement, what is your basis to know if the statement is truth or opinion? Ano ba yung mga ginamit nating basihan? Bakit natin nasabi na truth or opinion yung mga sagot sa mga statements na ito? Okay? So, I know meron kayong mga iniisip, may mga words kayo, may mga ideas kayong iniisip. Bakit ganun yung isinulat ninyo sa inyong mga notebooks. Okay? So, because of that statements of us, this will lead us to our first lesson for today in Module 2. And again, it talks about truth and opinion. So, syempre, ano nga ba yung tinatawag nating truth? Let's define the word truth. Okay? So, when we say truth involves both the quality of faithfulness, fidelity, loyalty, sincerity, and agreement. So, in other words, pag sinabi po nating truth, it considers as another term for fact. So, kapag may mga nakikita kayo na word na fact, F-A-C-T, ha? Kaya spelling ko na, okay, it also pertains to the word truth. Okay? So, again, pag sinabi nating truth, it considered as another term for fact. And kung totoo ka sa mga sinasabi mo or sa statement mo, it shows loyalty and sincerity. So aside from that, for us to understand if the statement is truth, there are some procedures of justification. So may mga proseso tayong ginagawa para masabi natin na kung truth or opinion ba yung isang statement. So pag sinabi po nating justification, ito yung proseso para ma-validate or to prove if the statement really shows truthfulness. Okay? So, ito po yung mga procedures of justification o procedures para ma-validate natin if totoo yung isang statement or hindi. Okay? So, number one, is scientific domain. Number 2, social domain. And lastly is the personal domain. So, ayan. Yan yung ating tinatawag na procedures of justification to validate if totoo yung isang statement or not. Okay? So, let's start to scientific domain. Alamin muna natin ano ba yung scientific domain. So, when we say scientific domain, truths are tested using empirical evidence. No? So, ibig sabihin, truth can be proven through what? Through evidence, by means of researches, measurements. Siyempre, gumagamit tayo measurements, or scientific studies. Ayan. Like for example, doon sa statement natin kanina, yung pinakaunang statement, di ba? Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. Okay, di ba? Yun yung unang question natin. So, which is, the answer is truth. Bakit? Kasi it is proven by science, di ba? It is proven by science. And bago po ito mapatunayan, maraming pag-aaral ang ginawa. So, there is the presence of what we so-called empirical evidence. Kaya nasabi natin na yung sagot dun sa unang statement is truth. Okay? Yun yung ating ginamit na justification, yun yung ginamit natin as basis. And it's scientific domain. Okay? Now, for the second justification of truth, we have here the social domain. So, what is social domain ba? No? Ano ba social domain? When we say social domain, truths are tested against their acceptability to a particular group in a particular time in history. Okay? So, ibig sabihin ng social domain, kapag accepted by majority or society over a period of time, at karamihan sa atin ay pinaniniwalaan ang isang statement na ito, isang bagay na ito, dahil matagal na rin po itong ginagamit. Therefore, we consider the statement is truth. Okay? So, like for example for social domain, this one. Dr. Jose Rizal is a national hero of the Philippines. We consider the statement as truth with the use of the basis or justification, which is the social domain. Now, bakit? Kasi, yun nga, we consider this as truth dahil kahit saan po tayo pumunta na parte ng Pilipinas, mapamatanda man o bata, Jose Rizal is our national hero. And it is accepted over a period of time in our history. Okay, so kahit saan, ano bang libro yung ating basahin, no? At kahit anong libro yung ating basahin, simula grade 1 tayo hanggang sa lumaki tayo, di ba, alam natin na ang pambansang bayani ng Pilipinas ay walang iba kundi si Dr. Jose Rizal dahil ito ay nasusulat. Okay? And at the same time, this idea and this statement ay ipinasa na po from one generation to another. So, mayroon tinatawag tayong history. No? It is, again, when we say social domain, the truths are accepted to a particular group in a particular time in history. Okay? So, dahil majority of the people or society ginagamit ito at pinaniniwalaan ito over a period of time. And that's social domain. Okay? So, last justification, yung mga basehan na ginagamit natin, we have here the personal domain. So, what is personal domain? Okay, when we say personal domain, truths are tested against the consistency and authenticity of the person who claims it. So, may authenticity ng taong nagsasalita. Okay? So, when we say personal domain, okay, we can say na isang statement ay truth kapag yung taong nagsasabi nito is, yun nga, may basehan siya. Lalo na kapag ginagamit natin yung ating senses. Okay? Yung senses natin, ano ba yung mga senses na meron tayo? Di ba, we have sense of sight, sense of taste, sense of smell, sense of hearing, and sense of touch. Di ba? So, like for example, ng personal domain, no? Sinabi ko sa inyo na ang favorite color ni San sa mga gamit niya ay green. Okay? Again, Sam's favorite color is green. So, base dito sa statement na to, base dito sa statement na sinabi ko, we can consider this as truth. Bakit? Kasi, una, nung tinanong ko si Sam sa kung ano yung favorite color niya, she answers me green. Okay? And at yun yung ginamit ko as basihan. Kaya ako nasabi that Sam's favorite color is green kasi yun yung sinabi niya sa akin. And at the same time, nakita ko rin sa mga gamit niya using my sense of sight, nakita ko sa mga gamit niya sa school, ang lahat ng gamit niya po ay color green. So therefore, my statement to you my statement to you, class, it shows truth. Okay? Bakit? Kasi nga, tinanong ko si Sam kung ano yung kanyang favorite color. At pinatunayan niya yon na yun nga yung favorite color niya, which is green. At the same time, ginamit ko yung aking senses, which is sense of sight, para masabi na ang paborito nga talagang color ni Sam ay color green. So, it pertains to what we so-called personal domain. So, when we say personal domain, truths are tested against the consistency and authenticity of the person who claims it. Okay. So, overall, those are the procedures or domains of justification that gives us knowledge that will lead us to a clear awareness and understanding of something. No? So again, let's try to generalize the concept of our discussion for today. So, yan. And with regards to a truth and opinion, no? So, yan. The statement or claim is truth if, number one, it is based on facts. So, when we say it is based on facts, it pertains to the scientific domain. Okay? Second, it can be justified or proven through the use of one's senses, okay, or through the what we so-called personal domain. Next, and lastly, while third is getting a consensus or having personal degree on a common belief is another way to determine truth or through the social domain. So that's the last claim. Okay? So ayan, no, that's a truth. Now, when we say opinion naman, ano naman tinatawag natin na opinion? Okay? So when we say opinion, okay, it is the statement of a judgment of a person about something in the world, and in order to gain the status of truth, okay, it must be able to pass the test of justification. So again, it must be able to pass the test of justification. So when we say opinion, class, we all know naman, no? When we say opinion, it cannot be proven. Diba? It cannot be proven. And it is a matter of personal belief or judgment, no? Without a specific basis and opinion. And an opinion is not true to everyone. Wherein it differ from person to person, no? Like for example, yan, this one. The movie was really sad. So we can consider this as an opinion. Why? Because it cannot be proven. Okay, it cannot be proven. You might agree me or not, but it's not true to everyone. No? Kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, it differ from person to person. Yun nga, at di naman lahat po ng tao ay parehas ng nararamdaman dun sa isang sitwasyon or dun sa movie. So if the statement doesn't pass the procedures of justification for the domains of truth, we consider it as opinion. Okay? So again, when we say opinion, it cannot be proven, and it is a matter of personal belief or judgment without a specific basis. So there's no basis for that. And at the same time, opinion is not true to everyone. And again, it differs from person to person. So that's opinion. Okay? So let's try. Okay, let's try if you really understand the difference between opinion or truth from opinion. So I have here another set of statements. So may hinanda ulit ako. Gamitin niyo po ulit yung notebook na ginamit niyo kanina when answering your uh yung unang pinagawa ko sa inyong activity. So for the first statement, again, let us identify whether the statements is truth or opinion. So number one, the homework that the teacher said was really hard. Is it truth or opinion? Okay, I'm giving you 3 seconds for that. Next, number 2, the fastest land animal is the cheetah. Is it truth or opinion? Okay, again, I'm giving you 3 seconds for this. Number 3 statements. Dogs allowed in cafes. Is it truth and opinion? And lastly, some breeds of dogs work with the police. Is it truth or opinion? Okay, so yan na po. Diyan po nagtatapos yung ating set of statements pertaining to truth and opinion. So yung mga sagot ninyo ay pakipasa po sa akin para ma-check po natin. Then next meeting to our second part of our discussion in Module 2 ay babalikan po natin yan as part of our review. So tingnan natin kung marami ba makakakuha ng tamang sagot. Okay? So now, in connection and as an additional information in determining the truth, okay, in expressing the truth, you know what, class, meron din tayong isa pang ginagamit, no? Okay? May mga pagkakataon, 'di ba, class, na nagiging matanong tayo, okay? Because why? We want to know something or we want to know what is true or para malaman natin yung totoo. Kaya we keep on asking questions, 'di ba? Kaya nga kaya kaya nga we also keep on asking question kasi gusto rin natin makakuha ng ng assurance na tama yung iniisip natin or sagot natin. Now, while may iba naman, kaya sila nagtatanong kasi di talaga nila alam yung sagot dun sa problem or sa questions nila sa buhay nila. And ang tawag po doon sa proseso na ito, we call it as inquiry. So when we say inquiry, it refers to the manner of asking questions. And yung pagtatanong na ito, yung madalas nating ginagawa na parte ng pang-araw-araw nating buhay ay nagdadala rin po sa atin to know the truthfulness of the situation. Mahalaga yon, 'di ba? Just imagine, no, yung mga investigators, 'di ba, kung nanonood tayo ng TV or nanonood tayo ng balita, 'di ba, yung mga investigators, they keep on asking questions. Okay, bakit? Kasi gusto nila malaman yung katotohanan kung sino yung pumatay. Sino pumatay dun sa tao na yon. Okay? Sino yung mga involved doon sa isang krimen and whatsoever. So, napakahalaga nung tinatawag nating inquiry or the manner of asking questions in determining the truthfulness of the situation. Okay? So, that's inquiry. Now, isa pang mahalaga is what we so-called the insight. Okay? So, when we say insight, okay, it pertains to ideas or knowledge derived from different sources. So, itong different sources na ito, it could be with the use of our senses and at the same time, our mental ability. Okay? To retain information to our minds. Okay? So, itong insight, it also refers dun sa way kung paano po tayo magbigay ng pieces of information to determine whether the statement is truth or not. Or sumagot sa taong nagtatanong sa atin with conviction na totoo yung sinasabi natin is with the use of our mind and at the same time as our form of senses. No, yun nga, as a form of sources na ginagamit natin. And again, we call it as insight. So like for example, sabi dito, a child dislikes swimming because he had an early experience of drowning. Okay? So yun yung insight ko tungkol dun sa bata. Bakit? Kasi yun yung nakita ko using my sense of sight and at the same time naalala ko using my mental ability to retain information. Yun yung naalala ko na na-experience niya before kaya ko nasabi na ayaw niyang mag-swimming kasi siya ay nalunod na before, no? Na-experience niya yon. And again, ang ginamit kong sources doon para masabi ko yung statement na yan is with the use of my sense of sight and at the same time, my mental ability nga na maalala ito. Okay? So, then after that, I share the information na iyon sa inyo Sinare ko yun sa inyo, and in that way, we call it as insight. So again, when we say insight, it pertains to ideas or knowledge derived from different sources. And those sources na ginamit natin in this example is first, our sense of sight, and at the same time, our mental ability to na maalala, no, yung isang sitwasyon. Okay? And in that way, we call it as insight. Okay. So, now, in Module 2, Lesson 1, which is Truth and Opinion, natapos na po nating pag-usapan ang ibig sabihin ng salitang truth, including its justification or procedures of justification. Natapos na rin po natin maging yung salita opinion, inquiry, and insight. So in that case, that ends our presentation about the part 1 of module 2, which is nga the truth and opinion. So I do hope that you have learned something from me in today's lesson. So, yung part 2 po na ating discussion, which is yung lesson 2, methods of philosophizing, ay mapag-uusapan pa natin in our next discussion. Okay? So, I do hope that you have learned from me in today's lesson, and if ever po na may nakalimutan tayo while answering our modules, you can watch this video again. So again, goodbye senior high school students, and that's all for today. See you next meeting.